Everybody wants that brand new home. New construction, modern updates, no renovations, but is new construction becoming sort of a luxury, or can the average buyer actually still acquire one of these homes? I'm Cody Neustaedter, a Winnipeg realtor, and today we're breaking down exactly how new construction is working here in Winnipeg and whether it's becoming sort of just a thing for the wealthy. So first, let's talk about what new construction homes actually cost. And here in Winnipeg, there is a couple of neighborhoods where new construction is obviously much more prevalent. So in Sage Creek, Bridgewater, further north in Mandalay West, in Amber Trails, Devonshire Park, etc., etc. And so there's a bunch of areas that you could buy these different homes, and they have different values depending on the lot size. And that is the biggest factor to how much new construction costs besides the finishes is how much the lot costs. And so in nicer areas, the lot costs more. The general or baseline price for all these homes is going to be higher. When you can get the land at a cheaper rate, usually it's going to be a little bit less. And so in Winnipeg, new construction usually ranges between about $450,000 for a new construction townhome or attached house, all the way up to, on average, $800,000 for a larger detached home, 2,000 square foot, 2-story. If you go beyond that, usually it's because it's a bigger lot that has a walkout basement, it backs onto a lake, or other factors such as really nice finishes or luxury finishes, high ceilings, stuff like that can impact the price as well. And keep in mind that when you buy a new constructed home, you do pay GST on the purchase price, and usually the builder is going to ask for that GST rebate to go back to them, and so you won't receive that. Okay, so let's talk numbers to see if this is actually affordable for the average person. So to qualify for a home purchase of $600,000 to $700,000, you are going to need anywhere between $150,000 to $200,000 depending on your credit score, how much you have saved, and how much of a down payment you're doing. $150,000 to $200,000 a year in salary is that number. And so that is quite high for the average couple in Winnipeg. This sort of boxes in to high earners, and it has to be a high earning couple or a really high earner individual, which for most Winnipeggers is kind of a stretch, which means usually it's not going to be your first house. And that's sort of a main point of this video, is that if you want a new construction home, I think it is possible, but I think you need to start somewhere else. And so whether you have a house already, or if you're trying to get into the market and buy your first one, I recommend getting that first property so that you can have appreciation work for you. And we'll go over the math on how that works and how that's actually a benefit to get into the market rather than trying to save for these homes. But before we get into the math that I know you're all excited to dig into, we're gonna go tour a home to see what a new construction home actually gets and at what price point will it actually make sense for you to purchase. Okay, and our first home tour today is a home that's listed at $700,000 in Sage Creek. It's got 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. It's recently done, and the basement is finished. So let's take a look. So this is a pretty classic layout for a modern day new construction home. We have the kitchen that goes off of the open concept living room, and then the dining room off to the side. This house does have the backyard with the side entrance and a back deck, but with new construction, there isn't really a ton of landscaping in the backyard, and that's something we'll show here. And depending on the finishes and the price range that the builder is trying to be in, that will determine how they finish these living rooms. How tall the ceilings are going to be, what type of lighting, what type of accent features, if they do a brick wall, if they do a built-in fireplace. That's usually the difference in price point for these homes, but also the difference in style that could sort of justify why the price is different. Okay, another sneaky little trick for you is actually where the laundry room is. See, there's 3 different floors. It could be on the main floor, the second floor, the basement. Most of these new construction homes are 2 stories. And if it's in the basement, that's lowest tier. Main floor is like good tier, and then on the top floor is the highest tier, and usually reserved for the most luxury or high-end type of homes. Okay, let's go check the bedrooms upstairs and see what they look like. Okay, and this space is actually something that's sort of been done in the last 10 to 15 years, is where they have this room that in the past would have been a bedroom. It's usually right off the stairs, but it's sort of used as like a flex space. They kind of call it reading space when they're marketing this. And it's just an area where you can have kids' toys, other stuff. This is where on those higher end properties, usually where the laundry goes. Okay, stepping into the primary, you'll notice that almost every home in this price range has an ensuite bathroom and a walk-in closet. That's pretty typical for the master bedroom. The other bedrooms don't usually have that. That's not common here in Canada or in Winnipeg. And usually there's a shared bathroom for all of the kids or the people staying upstairs, and then usually the guest bath is on the main floor. Okay, that's it for this house. Let's go check out the next one, but let me know what you thought about this place and if you think the price is worth it. Okay, so a big part of the focus for new construction is basements. And actually, usually they're not finished. This one is. And most basements in new construction homes are designed to have at least one space for a bedroom, like this one here, and at least one space for a bathroom. Again, like this bathroom here. And so sometimes they have two, but most of them are designed to have a rec room, a bedroom, and a bathroom so that you could have it sort of as like a space for older kids, or sometimes even just designed as an office in the basement. Okay, so now let's talk numbers. And here is where before I said it's important to get into the housing market so that you can have something. And we're going to walk through a scenario on why that makes sense. So we're going to pretend that you are buying a $400,000 house with 20% down, which is $80,000. We're using this number because it's simple. I understand that not everyone's situation is going to be like this, but just follow along for the math. If you were to try to buy an $800,000 house, which is double the purchase price, you would need $160,000 down for 20%. Okay, now let's take this $400,000 house and say you have bought it, you have paid off 5 years of your mortgage, and it has appreciated by $100,000. It is now worth $500,000. You have about $200,000 of equity, okay? That $800,000 house has gone up by the same amount, meaning it has appreciated $200,000, which is double what your house appreciated, because appreciation isn't based on numbers, it's based off a percentage, generally speaking. Okay, so now for you to buy that $1 million house, you need $200,000 in cash for the down payment. Well, guess what? If you sold your $500,000 house that you bought for $400,000, you now have $200,000 in equity that you could put towards that next house. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, you would still need the cash or the income to be able to qualify for that $1 million house. And that is true. But the point is, to buy that first house, you took $80,000 and you sat on it for 5 years, and you now have $200,000. For you to save that $120,000 extra in that time where you weren't in the market is probably pretty unlikely. And that's why it's a benefit to get into the housing market, let it work for you, and then still using leverage, you can buy those more expensive homes, because with leverage, you're buying something that's 80% leveraged with 20% down. And so it works, the math works out, the more money you can generate, that's the more leverage you can use to buy the nicer house. So all in all, is new construction only available to the wealthy? Well, not quite, but I do think it functions differently nowadays, because it's not going to be typically a first-time home buyer or somebody's first house. It is a possibility down the road, but you need to let appreciation work for you. You need to work on saving as much money and increasing your income to your higher earning years so that you can buy these newer constructed homes. And while I don't think that is a good system for it to be that way, that is the system we are currently in. And so if you want one of these new construction homes, let's chat about how to get you into the market so that down the road you can get one of these homes and you can be a proud owner of a new constructed home in a good area that you love to live. I'm Cody. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one.